guys, it's Elle back with you here. Welcome back to my channel. I haven't come up with a real introduction for this video, so let's just dive straight into it. Let me explain you what my regular week looks like. I'm gonna show you maybe an example of how my scheduling looks like. I'm gonna explain you the whys and hows of the things that I'm doing with my life, and please don't see it as any recommendation for this type of lifestyle. I'm just gonna share, a piece of my life for those people who are curious. There are no recommendations, only maybe for people who would like to combine working and studying at the same time. I don't want to recommend this lifestyle to anybody. I'm gonna also share with you why that is my opinion. Like, it's a choice of mine, and I'm gonna explain you why. So, to not hold you waiting for long, this is what my schedule could look like on a daily basis. I just found myself a second job. I don't know if you maybe follow me on Instagram, you know that. Well, I'm doing a full-time internship, and I'm also working on the side. And that's something I've been doing for quite a while. So even before I started my internship in February, even during first year since June 2001, I was working in Hilton already. And that job was a 60% contract, so 24 hours a week, which is approximately 3-4 shifts a week. This is what my life looks like right now. You can see that I'm doing 5 shifts that are shown in orange color, and then the pink shifts are the extra shifts on my extra work. Before I show you how I do the schedule, and I think it makes sense for me to explain you why I do certain things I do in life. Yeah, first of all, I was not a workaholic. I don't like that word, but I enjoy being at work. I enjoy working with people. Obviously, I'm working in the industry where I've been dreaming of working in for a long time. So work is not tough for me. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. I'm confident that that's what I want to do in life. And that gives you a lot of energy throughout the day. So I don't see it as a challenge. It's more like of a daily activity on my regular weeks that I do. That also comes a little bit from the fact that I started working quite early on, because I was really eager to start getting experience. I think I started when I was 17. That was my first internship, and then I got work at the espresso house, and you know the story. And also because I've been saving for such a long time for the hotel school, I don't know what it feels like to not work anymore. And also I'm a person who really likes saving money. I also started with that very early on, thanks to my dad, I would say, who really educated me well on how to approach money. And I also learned early on that the money just doesn't come out of nowhere. So when I was 15 was actually when I first saved up for my own first trip alone to South Korea. He helped me a little bit there, but I was the one making the budgeting, and I started seeing, those small life aspects where I could save a little bit more. And since then, I remember that the first trip costed me about 15,000 crowns, which is, let's call it 1,500 euros. That was sufficient for me to go to Korea for 1 month living there, and I did like 5 trips like that. And since then, I don't know, it's just like a habit. I have a saving account that was created during that year for trips, obviously. So I have a tendency to keep it refilled all the time, because it's very important for me that if I would have a day off and I'm able to travel, like I have 2 days off, I would love to just, without any stress, just take the money that I earned and go traveling, because it's something I enjoy, something that makes me happy, and something I really want to spend my free time on. And for that, you also need some spare money to refill it all the time, right? I've been traveling quite a lot back to Russia last year, so now I'm back with my 1,500. Let's see where I'm getting next time, but that's for the future. So that's one of the whys of why I decided to start working early on, already during year 1, aside from my full-time studying. And another reason for me working on the side is also the fact that I'm living in Amsterdam, and that's expensive. Like 800, I told you in one of my previous videos, that's something I pay for the rent, plus internet, plus I'm paying off the gym, life insurance, some steady expenses of this hard-hitting adulthood. And I don't know, some part of me really doesn't like using the money that I already saved for the studying. Also another reason for me to work on the side is that I'm really able to apply what I'm learning in school to the actual working environment. Trying those theories, seeing things that we talk about in school has been very helpful. And the big dream of mine would really be to become a GM one day. So I like being able to gain the working experience on the side of learning the theoretical part of our industry as well. Another smaller, more personal reason is that this year, you can see it over here a little bit, I am a person who really likes to set the goals for myself. I find the self-development one of my core values, I would say. And for this year, the top goal is to become as minimalistic as possible. So I've been decluttering since the beginning of this year, and I'm trying to live on the minimum expenses. That has been not a big challenge because I've already been doing quite a lot before this year, but this 2022 I really wanted to take it to another step for myself and really having minimalism reflecting on everything that I'm doing, including the daily expenses and what I'm spending money on. And another goal connected to that is that I really wanted to learn a little bit more about the investments, because I told you that I didn't feel really comfortable using the monies that I saved, but I also realized that those saved monies, I can confidently use half of them to start investing, and maybe those money could become more money in the future, hopefully. So for the beginning of this year, I've been educating myself on how to approach the personal finances and how to start with the investing. So slowly but strongly, I'm investing little bit by little, but yeah, that's also one of the reasons for me to keep working a lot, just because I know what my goal is and I really like to have those spare money that I can put on the side and maybe in the future create more money out of that. And the last reason would be that I also met some really nice people at work. So it's kind of hard to, meet people outside of the HTH bubble in Amsterdam, because it's a full-time study, you don't really do much outside. So that's really helped to, build the network inside the industry, but also find some really good friends at the workspace. So, reasons aside, let me explain you how I'm dealing with all of this. The first big discovery of the past year, I would say, was the Outlook calendar. I did not know how many features that it actually had, and it's been so helpful because I'm able to synchronize all of my calendars in one. Plus, you can also customize it. So in my calendar, I have the to-do list on the right side of the table. Plus, I also have my regular schedule in routines. It's like a small reminder for me what to put in the schedule when I'm making it. Also, regarding the to-do list on the side, I read quite a few books on the topic of time management. One of the ones that I'm reading right now, I can really recommend it to you. It's unfortunately I'm reading it in Russian. I think it's written by a Russian author. For maybe Russian friends who are watching me here, that's a really nice book on how to schedule smart and how to be productive on your days. So if you would be curious, this is the link. So regarding to scheduling, I sit down with it every week. So every Sunday is like my deep cleaning day at home, but also a scheduling day. Every Sunday I'm trying to sit down and make sure that I have everything that I need for the next week. Doing it only during one day allows me to put that on paper, and then I don't need to think, on Sunday and on Tuesday I will need to remember to do that because that's already in my schedule. So I'm trying to use my calendar as kind of an extra memory device to remember to do things. So everything that I know is important to think about during the week, I already put in the calendar, so that in the morning when I can open my schedule, I already know what's on the agenda for today. One of the most important parts, I would say, out of all of this is before starting doing any schedule, you really need to know your limits and your tempo and what your body and mind are comfortable doing. So you should really know how much sleep is enough for you. Also for me, in regards to talking about my limits, I know that I have a healthy addiction, which is called working out in the gym. Since 1.5 years ago, I think, when I started, I now expanded my workout routines to be 4 days a week. So I do 2 days legs and 2 days upper body. You can also see it in my schedules here. I know that if I'm not gonna do that, I mentally feel bad, because I told you before, the self-development routines are super important for me, and I know that that's my limit. If I won't have time to do that during the weeks, that's when my mood is gonna go down. I'm gonna be depressed, sad, just not the great spirits. So I know that for me it's very important to work out 4 days. I also try to run on Sundays. It's been a habit of mine during the first year, but now I tend to work on Sundays as well. So if I'm off in the morning, then I try to include one cardio training as well. Last, how I'm living the life that I live is that I realized that I can really optimize my time well. So what I did, I found some interesting podcasts, and those on different topics that could be in another video. But I started listening to information rather than sitting down with books or watching YouTube. Podcasts has been a new discovery of mine, where I've now listened to podcasts on my way to the gym, in the gym, which is, you know, it's like 1.5 hours of me getting the information in my head. It is not like computer science that I'm learning, guys, by the way, but sometimes it's just podcast for fun, but most of the time I'm learning languages or just listening about the books or other interesting ideas of speakers. Also on the way to work, I started already during my internship in 2018 when I did Marriott in St. Petersburg. My way to work was taking almost 1 hour, so I would take a book with me and read on the metro and the bus that I was taking every day back and forth. And that's also enough spare time that you can really optimize for yourself for the learning experiences instead. So that's what I've been doing. And for those who are curious, when do I have time to read? Well, I read in the bus. So yeah, that's been very important for me to keep going. I think it's extremely hard to keep on working and studying and not doing anything that you enjoy. But for me, I know it's important to make sure that I'm getting to a better version of myself every day. As far as I'm doing that, I'm really feeling good. And guys, please don't worry about my schedule looks busy, because I'm really happy with where I am right now. Also, another thing that helped me was starting meal prepping, especially during my night shifts. I would usually do like 7 night shifts in a row. Then it's very helpful to just buy a bunch of food, cook it, freeze it, and then that's actually one tip from Peter Afman. He really taught me that you can save a lot of time by just standing in the kitchen for 2 hours, put those in the freezer, take them out, you're ready to eat. It makes life easier when you really don't have the time to cook. The last of the house would be the fact that I worked night shift during the first year. That helped a lot, because now I'm really gonna talk about what my job was really about, but in the night auditor's role that I was performing in, you really have a specific checklist. With time, I really got confident doing the working task very quickly. Then I would have 2-3 hours spare time when I could spend studying, because my studying obviously makes me a better worker as well. So I was allowed to, do the work, study for a few hours, complete the projects, work a little bit more, and then go home. So really try to think smart and see the opportunities of optimizing the downtime that you have into the do time. Last tip would be, if I'm able to, I really try to hold one day completely off for myself. This once in like 2 weeks, to just, clean at home, read books, walk, go to the gym without stressing. Just making sure that I have one complete day when I know that I don't need to go anywhere and work. That has helped a lot to just stay mentally in place. But also the meditations. Oh my god, I completely forgot about that. My flat is probably low because maybe you could hear that every evening. But yeah, sometimes because my work requires a lot of, physical energy, emotional effort, I would say, to, keep up smiling the entire day. And then sometimes when the world is getting much busier in the hospitality right now, it's very hard to fall asleep sometimes. And I know there are a lot of people speaking about mindfulness and meditation. I'm not gonna educate you on anything, but I just know that really worked for me. So I'm meditating daily, if not sometimes 2 times a week. Sometimes when I'm going from one workplace to another workplace, listening to a podcast just to make sure to calm down my breath and bring back my mind in place. If you're curious about what app I'm using, that's Meditopia. Cheap, convenient, updated daily. It even can match your personal preferences to recommend you something during the evenings. So check it out if you just don't know where to start. Meditation is a really nice supporter when you have quite a busy schedule. But you can also think that I'm all here positive, not mentioning the downsides of it. And yeah, of course there are quite a few. I wrote down just a few of them to let you know that having a busy schedule is not too hard. I don't find it hard, definitely not, but there are some sacrifices that I needed to go through when I started working as much as I do now, aside from my studying, because you can imagine there is not much free time. The lack of sleep would be one of the biggest minuses. I'm working on that. I really try to work so that it doesn't affect my 8 hours sleep at night. I was definitely not doing well there when I had PE and night shifts together. I'm going to show you what those weeks look like. But yeah, it's been very hard. Sometimes my manager needed to schedule somebody to come in earlier so that I would make it to the shift. I remember once I had somebody sick and I needed to work night shifts 6 days in a row again, and I had the CBB exam coming, the first one. in year 1. And I remember coming from a night shift, I slept 2 hours, and I knew like I prepared for the exams, I always do, but I made such a stupid mistake just because I did not feel well. Like I was really sleepy, my computer didn't work, my proctoring didn't start on time, so it all just didn't work out nicely. And you know the feeling when you're really prepared and you're confident, but it's just not working the way it should. And then reviewing the questions, and I really aimed for black belt, and I got 78 on that exam. I wouldn't say I regret it, but I knew I could have done better. So on the second exam I was much more stressed because I needed to get the 82, which I did. Yeah, the second biggest sacrifice in my life would be live communication with people. I'm not sure if I have friends anymore or any type of close connections to anybody. Yeah, even my flatmates don't meet me much. Laura, at least she knew what my life had looked like that since June last year, so I haven't spent much time with her. But for Jenny, I think it really comes as a new discovery. So yeah, I didn't really have time to speak to people as I usually would do. I don't go out much. If I do, I really need to schedule it beforehand, and that's something I think that my closest friends learn to do, is to schedule something with me a few weeks before I get to the Sunday when I'm gonna schedule the week, because then they are confident and I know that we are gonna meet at some point, but I just need to get there. Yeah, my dad also adjusted really well. We decided to schedule like a coffee session every 2 weeks where we just sit for 1 hour and drink coffee and talk. And that way it works out, but he's also very busy, so that's where the Outlook scheduling really helps. And the last thing that I'm doing, to cover up for the fact that, yeah, I'm working so much and people are not really able to hear or see me. And I have so many friends around the world who would love to know that I'm doing fine. So that's why I'm posting on Instagram as much as I do. Lately, I didn't have time to do it much, but one of the reasons that I'm that active on Instagram and I'm trying to have a YouTube channel just so that people could see my face, know that I'm doing fine, know what I'm doing, and that everything is okay. Just wanted to share this part of my life with you. Please don't be disappointed in me if I haven't reached out to you for a long time. I really want to, but it looks like right now it's a little bit challenging until at least the end of my internship. Later, I don't know what is really gonna happen, but for now, this is what it is. I hope this video has been interesting to watch. Please leave down a comment if you have any tips, tricks, if you have anything to share or you're curious about something. I'm gonna try to prepare a second Q&A session. Long awaited, yeah, I think it's been 1 year since the last one. If you could put a like down under this video and subscribe, I would be really happy. Okay, I'll see you next time. I hope you all have a lovely day. See you later.